Hello, this video is that we need to do ranking for everything in school systems. This is related to my video I did a couple months ago where I said that we need to get rid of grades, completely get rid of grades in universities and schools and everything. Grades are an archaic way to judge people. It's basically based on whether or not the teacher likes you, and that's not a good way to judge somebody's education. It's like schizophrenic. It's like students are going to school to learn, not to learn the subjects that the class is about, not to learn how to fucking brown nose, right? It's like, if you want to have brown nose in class, have brown nose in class in some weird school or weird club or something, but don't make that about what education is about. Because everybody knows that, the grading system the way it is now is basically it's all up to the women, the teacher. A million times I get like A's in classes, and then I get an A's in all the tests and everything, and then I get like a C for the class, and it's like, and then stupid kids end up getting A's for the class. I could go on forever about that, but I've already done that in another video. This video is about how we need to replace the grading system. The idea behind the grading system is, to create a meritocracy so that the good schools know who to let in their school, and so the good companies know have their good company, and to know who's the best at what to let them get in. And so that's great. So there you go. It should be a meritocracy based on the skills of the class, not based on brown nosing. Maybe like big companies, they want people who are good at brown nosers, so they want to hire the people who get good grades because they're good brown nosers, but that's not going to help a company succeed, is by just being filled with a bunch of brown nosers, because then it just turns into like the Democrats and the Republicans. Like, you get your golden boy and then everybody goes behind them, and then you do the mudslinging, and then it's all about points and winning the fucking Monopoly game, and performance and, making a good company or making a good decisions in a good country is like thrown out the window, and it's all about politics. So, and political maneuvering and all this shit. That's not good. It's not what we need in an advanced society where we want everybody to get along. That actually goes against getting everybody to get along. It actually makes people go against each other, like stepping over each other and like conniving against making alliances. And it's old world tactics. If we want everybody to get along and live in one world, we need to make everybody smart. We need to get everybody good at the subjects that they're teaching. That's what we need to train them at. Not train them in some like underhanded like thing that you're not talking about. And so like if you have, say, history class, it's not like if you got an A, B, C, or D in the history class. It's how fucking good you do in the test, in the standardized test of the history class. I've already done a video about that, so that's not really what this video is about. It's related to this video, though, and it's that, as societies evolve, stuff gets more and more standardized. We standardize laws, and we're going to standardize the educational system. We're going to standardize the tests. We do, SAT tests aren't really that old, and they were put around to standardize, and they're going to get more and more standardized, and then it's going to be something, it's going to even like the whole world over. But so we need standardized tests, not just for SAT, for like, I guess that's supposed to be like general education, but also for each individual classes. You cannot have too many different criteria. You can't have too many different tests, too many different things you can be the best at. And I've already talked about this in some other videos, but like there's this website that these dudes put together. It's called like, they have like the Guinness Book of World Records, where they have their world records and all this different stuff. But then these guys kind of expanded it into like, internet level, known limit level, where you can actually upload your own thing. It's like free source, openware software or whatever, and people can like, kind of like Facebook and YouTube, anybody can get in there, sign in and fill it up. And invent their own records of anything. You could say, I have the most amount of like, in an hour. I did 1,000 in an hour, and get it up there, and you've got the world record at that. And And that's a great thing, and it should be. And I actually uploaded another video before how you should have that for like physical stuff, physical education should be geared towards that. And that's why I have like the YouTube records of all these different exercises. Like yoga and weightlifting and all this stuff. Even though I'm not like Mr. Totally Fit dude, I have the YouTube record. So there you go. I have the record, and that's kind of like the ranking. I'm number one with that. If somebody beats me, then I guess I'm number two. But we need to have that for all of all the normal tests. And of course, there's some tests that are more prestigious than others. Like you could be like, I'm world 24-hour mountain bike champion, and then this other guy's like, well, I'm Tour de France champion. Like who's gonna be making more money and be like scoring more chicks? Like same thing with school. You should have like with history. History needs to have a standardized test. The great standardized test of history, like everything in history, how well you can do, how much you can fill it up in 12 hours, go. And then you have it divided up in all the little different things, like how good are you history of all the individual countries? How good are you at the history of all the different individual centuries and decades and even years? And we need to have a ranking system for all of that. And of course, make it standardized, not make it like those dudes with the website where like anything goes, because it has, you can have it like that, definitely, but definitely there needs to be like an agreed upon like top 100, tests that people go after that are really straightforward, and that's what you would include in your job application and your school application, if that's what gets you off going to a nice Ivy League school. So like, it's like you could be like, I'm ranked 6,037th in the nation at the Great History Test. I'm ranked 297th in the nation on the history of Albania. And you have those histories set up. I've actually explained it on my standardized test video, but you basically have it like fill in the blank, and you just, like the skeletized version of my timeline, and you just fill it in, and then you, like, however much you get an extra point for it. And so you have it by the nation and also by your school. But some weird thing that I kind of think is weird is like somebody's like, you could be like applying to Harvard or something, and you're like, yeah, I'm ranked first in my class, or William Howard Taft graduated second in his class of university, and it's like, okay, great, class, but what's more interesting in that? How about nation? We shouldn't rank individuals in terms of the nation. We have high schools ranked in terms of the nation. And in this day and age with internet the way that it is, with so powerful and all the internet and with the memory and all the open source, and there's no reason why we can't, and we definitely should rank individual students in terms of the nation. But how are you going to rank individual students in terms of the nation if you're going to do it by grades? You can't do it by grades because different teachers grade different ways and everything. You need to do it standardized. And you need to do it with the SAT. Like, how are you ranked in the nation in SAT? And all-time SAT. How are you ranked in the nation in the 100 different history class tests you can take? The 100 different math tests you can take. The 100 different, all the other subjects, political science and all this stuff. What place, and then every year you have like the read-off on the best paper about history, or and of course originality, and I'll do another video about that, but how highly ranked you are in terms of originality, like did you make, like if you won the science fair, it's kind of something like that. But all these things like the science fair, the SAT, the ranking of the class, it's all regional, local stuff. It needs to get nationalized, and it needs to be completely objective and not at this at the whims of like a teacher. That's not meritocracy at all. It has to be something that your teacher could hate your fucking guts. You could hate your teacher's guts. You could never show up at class. You could be like an asshole, but you could still be ranked number one at SAT, or history or whatever. And we need to have lots of different rankings because there's lots of different things that people are interested in. And as our world gets more developed, the best people at something, you're going to be the best at one thing and nobody's going to be able to beat you. And it's going to be completely impossible for somebody to be the best at everything. You're not going to be able to be the top of every history test or of every subject or anything, because you're good at what you practice at. Like in the good old days, you would have there was some female athlete back like in the 20s who got like the gold medal in like every single activity because she was the only fucking female athlete, right? But now you can't do that anymore. Even in normal days, like 20 years ago, you had people like the guy, like in bike racing, the guy who won the world championships in the sprints could be the same guy who won the climbs and the other stuff. And now everybody's so good at everything that you just have specialists, and so the guy who wins the sprints can't be the same guy who wins the climbs, and it didn't used to be like that. So it's same thing with school, and that's so there's your meritocracy, and there's your motivation to get kids to try to strive to do well at school, so that they can get themselves ranked up in the rankings, and also show you the number. It's also about number. I got 670 points in the history test or something like that. And we're already seeing the beginning of that with YouTube. And YouTube, mind you, is created by young people, like people younger than me. Like, I don't know how old they are now, like what, 30 or something? And when they invented it, they were like 22 or something like that. I mean, but and so that's basically what I'm saying is in the future, I think it's going to naturally be like that. People are going to be into that. I think people have an aversion to that because it exposes stuff, and people don't like to be exposed because they're really self-conscious, because they're used to like people just like attacking each other and trying to belittle each other and make each other paranoid and stuff, and so and then people think that it's like a human right, like part of human rights is people's right to be anonymous. Like people they want to be anonymous, like that whole freedom of speech thing. It's not just against like the oligarchy, like keeping power over everybody, but it's also against people who just want to be faceless and don't want to make any decisions and just like be under the bushes the whole time. But those kind of people are going away. As we get more developed, people are getting nicer and so less prone to attack each other. I think the only reason that people like to hide under the bushes is because they're the ones who are out there attacking, like all the people who troll me, who like insult me, and I get a lot of insults and haters and stuff. None of them have videos uploaded. None of them have pictures of themselves on YouTube. None of them even have favorites. I don't know what their name is, where they're from, how old they are. I don't know anything about them at all. And so I think the people who are like, yeah, I have the right, like the anonymous people who said that thing about Facebook. We're going to hack into Facebook and destroy Facebook. They're, because the government's collecting information on you, and, I shouldn't have to we shouldn't have ranking systems and encourage people to upload videos to YouTube. The people who say that shit are the same exact people who are out there like, faceless people out there attacking people. Being like, you're a douche, you're a faggot, you're an asshole, you're a loser, it's the same people. And so, but those kinds of people are going to go away. Those trolls, those assholes, they're going to stop. People are going to get hobbies, they're going to somebody's going to buy them a bike and they're going to go riding, or they're going to go traveling. They're going to get happy about their lives or whatever, and going to get a girlfriend or something. And they're going to stop focusing on that stuff, and they're not going to be as much of a voice against getting your face out there. And so I think it's going to come quite naturally to people in the future to just to have those ranking systems public, where nobody's going to freak out. It's like, yeah, sure, I'm at the bottom of my class at math, but I'm not embarrassed about that because I don't like math. I don't do math. I haven't had any classes. I don't like math. Get the math away from me. I'm never going to do it. I know how to work a calculator just fine. If I wanted to figure something out complicated, then I'll teach it myself, and I'm sure I could figure it out. It's not that complicated, But then you're like, wait, look over here. I'm ranked number 1 in backgammon, So, so it's all about ranking, and that's what the true, we definitely shouldn't forget. That's what the true purpose of grades is all about. It's about the meritocracy. So if there's going to be some dude who's at the bottom of the list of everything, and he's just like doesn't give a fuck about anything, then, in a strong economy, that dude's always going to be able to get a job. You're always going to be able to give him a job as, the maintenance dude or the janitor or something, He'll be perfectly happy with that. I mean, he's not going to be embarrassed about being at the bottom of the pile. If everybody's nice and he doesn't have to worry about people making fun of him and, like yelling at him and call him a loser or whatever. Some people just want to go through life and take it easy and not be good at anything and just hang out, and that's fine. That's great. I'd love to have a life like that, and given the right circumstance, if I'm born into a family of underachievers, I'd be an underachiever too. I'd be like, cool, man, we're the underachievers. Have another beer. It's beer 30, baby. Yeah, cool. But so basically the best way for a meritocracy to be is by having rankings for everything based on tests. And also like how YouTube is. YouTube is all ranked. They have like the top 100 most subscribed people this month, this week, today, all time. Well, once computer power gets higher, they should also have the highest. They should also include that to all of the YouTubers, all of them. Like I should be able to, it should be written on my YouTube channel, like what rank I am in terms of most subscribers in the entire world out of all the people with YouTube accounts, and know exactly how many YouTube accounts there are in the world and what place I am in terms of subscribers, and what place I am in terms of like how liked my video is. I look at a video and I know like what place it is out of all the videos with that title. You know what I mean? Like rank everything. And that's the kind of stuff that you would include in an application for a school or a job. You go, look, I'm ranked this in the world. I'm ranked this in the nation. Just compare my numbers with the other people. You make it very scientific. That's what science is all about. It's relying on numbers and data and figure, and some people might go, oh, that's taking the human factor out of it. The human factor is perfectly in it if you've got videos, and videos is part of the ranking system as well. You would have people who makes the best video. I mean, it's already on there on YouTube. You could have, voted in school. It could be part of school. You could have the dude who gives the 50-minute presentation on the Enlightenment. The high school kid who's still in high school. You have to be like under the age of 18 or something, or maybe even have the under 18 category and then the other under 16 category. You'd have to have different categories based on age because you get better with age in terms of knowledge and stuff. So it's like, yeah, I'm ranked 57th best video presentation of the Enlightenment, and I'm ranked second best in best presentation off the hook. Or, like when you do a presentation like me where you're just talking and you're not showing graphs and it's not prepared. And then you're like, yeah, look at my video. It's ranked number 2. And look at my video here. Look at my video that. And of course, you would get it ranked by kids watching the video. And then you just give like a star, like a 5, like a 1 out of 10. I give this guy a 10. I give this guy an 8. Or you just have the kids rank the other kids in your own class. Like I'll rank him first, I'll rank him second, actually give them actual numbers. And then you throw that into the database of the nation and whoever is on top. I mean, there's plenty of ways to do it. Probably the best way is just by 1 to 10. You watch the video, you give it a 1 to 10. And you can vote as many times as you want. And of course, that would make it well, maybe you can't vote as many times as you want because it's not a popularity contest. Well, it'd be pretty simple. I mean, yeah, maybe you could just vote as many times as you want. You make it really loose, But then you show the video, and like, even if it is just a popularity contest, some dude who's like doesn't do as good of a video presenting the history of the scientific revolution, and then he has got a bunch of money and he pays all of his friends to jack up his video. If he does that and he's artificially first place in that video category, and all the other ones are below him are better, then he's up to something, and it kind of becomes transparent to that effect. And people would know, and then it would actually work against them. So, that's why like the ranking system could be very totally easy. You just watch the video, you rank it, and you get it up. So that's how we should do grades. Because I uploaded a video, a couple of months ago saying how we should get rid of grades, and somebody commented on my video and said, I agree with most of the things you say, but I don't agree with this. You know, to the effect of, oh, I think we should have grades. Well, why should we have grades? They didn't say why. People never say why. People don't understand the concept of saying why. But if people had more of, well, if we had a better educational system where we all communicated and talked, you know, we would understand the concept of saying why we believe stuff, you know, not just say shit. Well, because. Why? Why? Because. Because it's that way. Why is it that way? Because. Like a loop? Yeah, okay. If it's that way because it's because, and because it's because like that, that's why it's that way, and everybody says it's that way, and so that's why it is, and... yeah. Phew. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But yeah, we should have rankings on everything. Best play. I have the best, you know, the best play, the best, I have, and there's all kinds of crazy things. You could get computer programs to fill in stuff like if you write a paper, like how many facts you included in your paper. Like, this is the history of France. And then you have like a computer peruse it, and they pick up like mentioning names and mentioning events. And whoever has the most, then you put that on the top, and you'd be like, okay, my paper's ranked 31st in the nation on the most referenced events in my history of France video that I say, because I guess computers can also pick up words that you say and attach them to words and then plug that in, but also in my paper. You know, and of course that would be obvious if somebody just includes names just to include names, like King Louis XIV fought this war, fought that war, fought the next war, it turned it into a bad paper. So if somebody is first place in terms of mentioning the most amount of events, but they're like 500 millionth place in terms of quality of paper, it's because there's something wrong with their paper. But if you're, you know what I mean? So you could have like the rankings of that. There's all sorts of different ways, and we definitely should start in small steps, but we definitely need to start by getting rid of grades. Getting rid of grades and then creating standardized tests. And I will create the standardized tests. Don't worry, I'll take care of that. I'll plug them into the system and you can use them. I'm going to start by creating the history test, the standardized history test of the world, which you get 12 hours to complete, and whoever fills in the most facts gets the most amount of data. And of course, I'll attach a different number of points for each event. I'm not going to be done with that for a few years, though, obviously. But then, of course, along those lines, we attach words to stuff to everything else. But we got to get rid of grades, because grades take motivation away. Grades just turn it into this big. It's like useless. It's like, why should I even bother if it's all about the grades? Because, well, the way that the school is now, because, like the reason I could never get good grades, and the reason I couldn't get good grades is because the tests were always on a certain day, and I cannot work on somebody else's schedule. It does not work that way for me. It doesn't mean that I can't like get a job and work on somebody else's schedule, like, showing up on time. I mean, when I work, I always show up right on time. I never am late, and I can always turn in stuff on time, But if you're gonna I don't think school is really all that realistic in terms of how the real world works. Like what job do you not, other than then I guess if you're like a journalist, do you know if you're not gonna know what the test is gonna be on until 2 days before the test is, and and the test is on a certain day, and then you gotta and then you have to sit in front of some dude talking nonsense or whatever he's saying forever. And hypnotize you. That doesn't have anything to do with normal everyday job, other than I guess journalism. You're kind of like that, where you don't know what you're gonna write on. But yeah, anyways, you just do the aptitude. Whoever's good at that's good at that, and. But it needs to be well-rounded. Education needs to be something that accommodates every student, and every student within the same building. All the students need to be integrated with each other and hanging out with each other, and have the opportunity to take whatever class they want. But they should not be compelled to do stuff that's not interesting to them, because the idea behind education is to pump knowledge into somebody. By the time somebody graduates high school, they should know the history. They should know who all the kings were, why all the laws were invented, why all the wars were started, how they were ended, why all the so that they have ideas about what we should do politically now. The more politically active the people are, the citizens, the more better off our country's going to be. Only 40% of the people voted in the last presidential election. So, yeah, so rankings, man. Rankings are what time it is. I would love, and it's a really interesting way to like, to motivate yourself. You know, you want to get better at the ranking. And you can't get better in the ranking the way it ranked. Get better at ranking the way that the system was before, because like if you wanted to take the test, you'd have to take the SAT test, but it's only given once a year. And if once you graduate high school, they probably don't even give it to you if you're not enrolled in high school. If you wanted to take, well, there are no history tests, but if you wanted to take any one of those history tests, for example, or math tests, you can only take it on that day. You can't take it whenever you want. So where's the motivation to get better at the test? What if later on you're like, oh, you know what? I don't like how I did in that test because I wanted to get into MIT, but my trigonometry test isn't good enough. There should be no reason why you shouldn't be able to just go up and take your trigonometry test whenever the fuck you want. Not the trigonometry test that was given that day. The idea is to teach people trigonometry. It's not to teach people to be good at trigonometry on a certain day. What does that have to do with anything? It's good. The idea is to teach somebody to be good at trigonometry, period. At one point in their life, be good at trigonometry. Not be good at trigonometry on September 2nd, 2011. You know, and then you can forget all of it after that. Because that's the way that school is now. It's all set up like you have to be good at on this day and then forget about it. You can forget about it and never know anything again. So then people graduate and they forget about it. And they never know anything again. Nobody knows shit. So then you get these idiots on the radio who are like talking all sorts of crap, saying that like Islam is a religion of like hatred and Muhammad preached war and all this stuff. It's not like that. Yeah, Muhammad had battles and stuff, but it's just how the world was back then, you know? So yeah, rankings, and you can always have the opportunity. You can always take the test, always. Because we have the technology now with the video camera. You just turn on the video camera, you put the little watch in front of it, and you go. You know, and you get the test, and then you make the video of it. And so then you compare the video with the test in case the test is too high above the video. You know, just like when you're in the supermarket. You scan the food by yourself, and then you throw it in the bag. If the weight in the bag doesn't correspond to the things that you have, then the alarm goes off. Same thing with the test. If the ranking system, if the amount of facts you have in your video, and the quality of your video, because somebody will watch your video if they want to like hire you for something, you know, it's only like a 10-minute video or something, is not it's not coherent. It's not along the same lines as the paper you did, or the test you took that was even also, you know, filmed by the camera with the watch in front of it, then, you know, something could be up. But, you know, people, so yeah, you can just take the test whenever you want and whenever you want. And so, I mean, if it was like that, I would get out there and, well, I already study all the time, but I would get out there and study all the time. I'd be like, cool, man, the test, I'm going to take the test and post it on my website. I'm going to take, whenever I get around to it, I'm going to take an SAT test. These one of these like 10 question SAT tests where I can take as long as I want so that I can get like 160 IQ. I brag everybody, I have 160 IQ. No. Or did I talk about the IQ test? I guess I'm going to take an IQ test and an SAT test. Only I'm going to do it the way that everybody else does it. Put the camera up, film myself taking it, the entire thing, level playing field, just like the people who do it. Post my number of the SAT, the IQ, the MCAT or whatever, all the other ones, even the ones that I don't know and anything about, even stuff I'm bad at. Even trade test like the bar, the law bar exam, what else? Doctor's exam, everything, all of them. I don't care. And then I take the exam, and then I'm like, oh, cool. I was curious about the answer of that. I'm going to learn up on that, and I'm going to learn up a little bit, and then I know a little bit more about that subject. Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to take the test again. And then you do better. You can take the test whenever you want, and then I'm at this ranking. But you have to know the rankings, and then you can use that. Like, what if you want to get a job as like a medic on a mountain somewhere, but you know, it's conceivable that you could get a job as a medic on a mountain somewhere, and you've never went to school because you scored, above a certain percentage points on the test, a certain number on the test, and you got ranked. You know, it should be numbers and ranking above a certain number, and so your numbers are there. It means you can do it. Go, you're hired. Same thing with a lawyer. Like any you know, I don't understand why people think that some of these jobs they're like it takes like all these years of studying to be able to be a lawyer. You could study for yourself for like a couple of years. Boom, you're a lawyer. 3 years, and you're a lawyer. But if you're like if you're hanging out in your fan all day long, I bet in 1 year you'd know enough to pass the bar, and you can be a lawyer, right? So, and it's good to be like that, so that you can hire anybody, because it makes placement easier. It makes you know, people don't have to travel around if they don't want to. They can stay in their own place because they can get the job because they have more skills. You know, it's easier to find other people because there's more people with jobs with skills. And yeah, so rankings, man, we gotta have rankings out there. Ooh, that was kind of a long video.